Alright, welcome to a new League of Legends video, and we have a pretty particular game here, and I know it's been a while since I've uploaded a video with my commentary on it, but I hope that it's worth it for you guys who are watching the channel. So let's get right on the rundown. So why am I uploading this? Because this is one particular game or particular jungle matchup that I don't feature very often, because there's a very high chance that it's going to be really bad. And in this game, I wasn't sure if I even wanted to upload this video, but I was playing with a friend of mine, playing his signature Gangplank, and we saw the JAX. The JAX wasn't banned because there were other mid laners, or there were other champions in the game that we just didn't want to play against. And the JAX was open because the guy who's playing jungle obviously picked JAX after I locked in Xin Zhao. So this might be a pretty rough game, but I'm already telling my friend, I'm already telling him, do you want a dead enemy top laner at level 2 before 3 minutes, basically 3 minutes before anything happens, there's a top laner that's gonna die. And my friend agrees, and that's what we're gonna do against this typical Riven player. And we get the kill, and I couldn't really risk my friend dying over here because the Riven could have easily landed an empowered auto attack and just smacked our guy. But I got the first blood money, I got the first blood kill. That's pretty good. And here I tried to do a follow-up just to continue the momentum, but I kind of botched it really badly because I just burned my own flash like a complete idiot. And that basically just meant that, hey, the Corki burns his own flash. That means LeBlanc might have an easier lane in the following minutes. But here comes some rather spicy bot lane action. There's the enemy JAX trying to make up for essentially the enemy top laner dying a few minutes ago. And just a big cluster truck of fiesta. And the enemy bot lane dies, and I get both of the kills, which is really good. That means it makes up for the fail flash that I had a few seconds earlier. So that's a pretty good start for me. I get 3 kills, and I kept most of my buffs, I get most of my resources, and I buy my blue smite and 2 long swords, and of course the boots, so I can just start roaming around the map and transferring this really strong lead that I established to my other lanes, and make sure that we can just keep up the momentum, because the enemy team is kind of scary. They have a double ADC team comp, they have Riven, and especially they have JAX. So our team is going to get outscaled if this game goes on, and we have to be really careful not to drag this game any longer, especially in my case, because I'm playing against JAX, and there's this guy, and there's a JAX, he's trying to be a little cheeky fellow, but I'm a cheekier fellow myself, and use one of my trinket wards to just plant it and just see where the JAX is. And I tried going for a gank, but my friend wasn't ready, and I kind of overforced it, but it doesn't really matter because the JAX just jumps in and he doesn't really do anything, and I don't do anything myself as well, but at least it keeps the JAX on his toes, and that's what you want to do against any enemy jungler. And as Xin Zhao, not just Xin Zhao, but with any jungler that you're playing, you want to keep the enemy jungler on their toes. You want to keep them, you want to control the pace, and you want to keep them on a certain level. And you just want to respond, and here comes another bot lane, some more bot lane action. And this game is basically going to evolve around the early game. It's just me spamming ganks in the bot lane over and over, simply because they have a Vayne, and nobody wants a Vayne. Nobody in the enemy team. We actually have 2 hyperscaling bot laners, hyperscaling ADCs, and LeBlanc just solo kills that guy like a champion. So anyway, we have 2 hyperscaling ADCs. We have Ezreal in our team, and the enemy team does have Vayne, and obviously Vayne is one of the strongest champions in the game when she's not only when she's ahead, but when she reaches to the point where she can just 1v9 the game. So we really need to prevent that, and the way that I want to prevent that and keep our Ezreal ahead is to just spam ganks at bot lane, because we do have also our own scaling, but not really by that much. We do have Gangplank for scaling, there's me for a bit of scaling, but not really. Xin Zhao doesn't really scale that well in the late game, but at least it's a lot better than nothing. So again, just spamming more ganks in the bot lane, and that almost failed. And unfortunately, our Braum burned his flash, and I was kind of stubborn over here simply because I kind of wanted to have that gank, but at the same time, it's like it wasn't possible. So I should have just farmed, and that's one thing that you guys have to know is how you need to know how to balance out both farming and ganking. And in my case, I went to the extreme side of the coin where I just want to gank for bot lane over and over, and unfortunately our Ezreal dies in the middle of me doing nothing, and that's what happens. You just get those bot laners who will just randomly die while you're away, and they're probably already mashing their keyboard wondering where the hell is their support. Anyway, usual shenanigans aside, the following few seconds or the few minutes of this rundown is going to be pretty important because it's going to be a really significant part of the game. So I'm getting my red buff over here, and the enemy team is already planning to take the Cloud Drake. And Cloud Drake, as you all know, it's a really underrated dragon. It's a really underrated buff. But here we are, 2v4, me and LeBlanc just cock blocking the enemy team from taking this objective. And there are one of two possibilities over here, but this is what happened. So I dashed in, I swat the enemy JAX away, and we were able to steal the dragon, and the rest of our team just closes in while our Gangplank is just doing his usual thing in the top lane. And just some action over here. You get some kills, and my team, my allies, my teammates kinda want to dive the enemy bot lane, and Ezreal with a snipe. Like, Jesus Christ, like, calm it down, Ezreal. Like, calm the F down. This Ezreal is just popping off a little bit, and the enemy team, well, the enemy Pyke is wondering what is he gonna do. But then again, the enemy team, he should kind of realize that he's safe, but unfortunately he gets sniped. So Ezreal is just benefiting from all of that, and I get the blue buff. I could have given it to LeBlanc, but to be completely honest, I didn't really mind. Plus, I already kind of delayed a lot of my farming because of my highly concentrated bot lane affairs. So I need to take that blue buff. I need to take the gold. Also, a few seconds ago, our Gangplank just died for some reason. Because it's Riven. It's, Riven versus Gangplank. Then you know what happened. So this Riven is overextended. She was over pushing, and it kind of botched it really badly. So she did burn her flash, but I could have easily done that a lot better. And we're just running around. We're trying to run her down, and I'm so determined to just kill this enemy Riven, and she unfortunately, excuse me, this stupid microphone. Anyway, she unfortunately couldn't dodge my W, so she got poked to death with my pointy stick, so that's nice. And our Ezreal dies again. How typical it is of an ally bot lane. So that was a pretty rough thing. I gotta admit that I could have played that a lot better. I could have not chased that, and I was only lucky that we were able to do that because we all had lane priority. Our LeBlanc was just smacking this Corki, and the enemy JAX was nowhere to be found. So we're kind of lucky that we're playing against a JAX who, for some reason, he probably doesn't know how strong he is when he's fighting against me. So he could have been spending more time just counter ganking against me. He's probably too worried that he's probably stuck to this whole mindset that he's JAX. He needs to farm. He needs to farm for items and reach late game, but he kind of forgets that. Not even kind of forget. I think he totally forgot that JAX is such a hard counter against Xin Zhao. Like, literal hard counter. That's one of the reasons why every time I play Xin Zhao and I did not ban JAX, I'm always praying, I'm always flipping a coin whether or not the JAX will be picked or not. So he was picked, and he did pick off our Gangplank, and unfortunately he didn't give it to his own top laner, and that Riven is trying to display that swag of his, and he's obviously building towards the totally balanced Spear of Shojin build, and this Riven is going to be some sort of an issue later on. Plus, he was flashing his master emote, so I kind of get triggered. And I also make a really big mistake of not defending top lane, because I just really wanted to focus more on the bot lane, because I felt that the bot lane was just a lot more, it was just a lot more beneficial to just play around with and get more kills. Because the thing is, ganking for bot lane, when you're doing it really well, you're not just getting one kill, you're getting 2 kills, or at least 2 takedowns, and you're giving 2 extra takedowns to 2 extra allies. So in my opinion, that's one of the reasons why playing for bot lane is such beneficial, or is such a benefit, despite it being such kinda emotionally taxing anyway. So we're taking our other objective, which is a Mountain Drake. Could have been a Cloud Drake, or it could have been an Infernal Drake, but it's still a good objective to secure. And while we're just happily taking over this Mountain Drake, the enemy team is going over there, and JAX flashes, and he's like, and I completely saw that flash coming and just completely outplay that guy. So that was a good thing. Anyway, there just more brawling, more fighting, and the JAX, he does stun me, and I had to flash out of that because there was a very high chance of the enemy team would have fired me, considering that I do have a very large bounty on my head. In fact, I have a bunch of kills, I have a bunch of assists, and we're just taking over this map. So just more kills, LeBlanc's getting even more, and I get saved. This Ezreal is really kind. I guess he was really thankful. I'm hoping that he was really thankful at the fact that I focused a lot in that bot lane. Like, I worked really hard for our Ezreal to have that Iceborne Gauntlet as early as possible. And I guess that was his sign of showing appreciation. And he also pops that enemy corgi. So that was a pretty good thing. I was very thankful that the Ezreal actually used his heal to save me from dying to tower, and that could have been really sad. So I'm building my usual items because this is I do not want to be a deterrence to my own team by building something troll, so I just need to build something really standard and really balanced. So there's Triforce with my Blue Smite Warrior enchant, and then just some more people dying in the map, and I just completely spank this guy. I spank 2 guys, and I get the double kill. That's pretty nice, but the JAX is just running away. And this part, if you guys are ready to make fun of me for being a really bad player at some points, then be prepared, because this is one part of the game where I really regret showing. But I'm gonna show it anyway because it's an opportunity for everyone to learn. So I charge with the Riven, but I forgot that the JAX is there, and I just get popped. So you guys have learned. So anyway, I'm just hoping that this Ezreal kills the enemy Riven on time, and he was able to do so. And he could have actually taken down the enemy JAX, but he kinda played it really. I don't want to say he played it really poorly, but I think he botched somewhere. I think he had a little bit of a blunder, and he was lacking, I think, just one more hit just to go for the double kill. But our Ezreal is kind of fed. He has his Manamune, which is going to be the Muramana, obviously, to pair up with his Iceborne Gauntlet. But I'm pretty happy that we have a fed Ezreal, and the Vayne is actually pretty behind. She only has Blade of the Ruined King, but she can still catch up if she's able to contribute well in team fights. The enemy Riven, though, she is kind of fed because she does have whatever items that she's wearing, and some more bot lane shenanigans over here. Not bot lane, mid lane. And the enemy Vayne dies, and we're just trying to hit some people, and I just stab the enemy Pyke with my pointy stick. And this is, by the way, patch 9.13. It's the current patch, and this guy playing Pyke is probably wondering why his champion just feels really bad, but that's what the patch gives you. That's what the patch gives you, my dude. Pike right now is in a really bad spot. Anyway, we're trying to go for the early finish, which we should be doing really, because we don't really want to extend this game any longer than it should be. But we can't really end it immediately because the enemy team does have a pretty fed Riven. Well, not fed, but a Riven with a little bit of farm, and they're defending pretty well. And our LeBlanc is really tempted to pop one guy, and that's the Corki, and I'm telling everybody to get back. So even though your goal is to end the game, just remember to tell your team to get back. I mean, there's nothing wrong with going back and spending your gold, and for the supports and the junglers with some space, they can also buy some wards. And there's the enemy Riven. We caught her red-handed trying to go for a flank. Instead, she gets spanked pretty hard, and I tagged her with the laziest kill ever, and JAX also gets smoked. So we got some kills, we got some objectives, and we do have an incoming objective, which is a Cloud Drake, which is cool. Not an Infernal Drake, but at this point in the game, having 2 Cloud Drakes, especially with Xin Zhao running Relentless Hunter, that's gonna be really good. It's gonna give me a lot of movement speed. And if you guys are also wondering, I know I'm building standard, but why am I also building a Blade of the Rune King? Just because I want to combat Riven. And any enemy Vayne dies, our Ezreal is just outplaying these dudes like, holy crap. Jesus, I mean, calm down. And he gets smoked by the enemy Corki, but I come for the save for the revenge kill, and yeah, some revenge kill, but unfortunately our Ezreal just got knocked out. So trying to go for the intervention over here, and the enemy team doesn't know that I'm behind. I'm chasing them. I pop my flash just so I can completely one-hit this JAX, and there's the Riven, and I also issue some revenge, a little bit of revenge, because she was displaying her mastery emote, and I had to show what's up. So anyway, I was pretty happy with this game simply because we were able to shut down the enemy JAX. The JAX for some reason was never a factor, other than that one time that that one time that I got debated in the bottom lane. And that was the only good play that he did, in my personal opinion. Like, the rest of the game, though, it wasn't even that he was out of place. No, he was definitely in place, and that place really was just him, well, never really being a threat, because I simply just outpaced the JAX, and I never bothered trying to do something funky like fight him at every stage of the game. I never bothered trying to go for sneaky fights, because you don't ever want to fight JAX and Xin Zhao at any point in the game, whether it be early game, mid game, and especially late game. You don't want to fight JAX, because even if you're able to out damage him, he is still going to waste your time, and if he's wasting your time, that means that's less time for you to snowball and more time for him to scale up. And we're also claiming Baron over here to no avail, simply because, not no avail, to little threat, simply because I do have some damage, and our Braum is also relatively bulky. So if you look at my items, I have my standard items. I have Blade of the Rune King simply because I want to beat Riven, because Riven is the only real threat in this game. The Corki, he's just behind. And I just want to beat Riven, and the way you beat, at least in the way that I do it as Xin Zhao, the way that I always beat Riven in a lot of fights really, is to just have more attack speed and lifesteal. And I tried to go for the 1v1 against JAX, and I could have done it, but it's really an unfair 1v1 because I have several items, and the JAX only has whatever the hell he's building, but he was still able to deal a decent chunk of damage. But we're trying to go for the end, but we get troll inhib, and this troll inhib is going to be a little bit of a game changer, because not only does our Ezreal die, one form of our siege or wave clear, not really wave clear, but our tower siege, we also get we also just get bang bust by the enemy team for the counterattack. Just Riven dives and all of us die, and this pike of all people just flashes in, tags me with ignite, and I'm knocked out. So we get aced because of a troll in him, and that's gonna be one sign that the enemy team might be coming back. They could use that time. They could honestly use that time that they have, knocking us all out, acing us, and just look for a way to come back. But it's not really gonna happen because our team, that was definitely just our team being our team, like a bunch of monkeys. So anyway, in my case, really, this game is about to end, and the JAX, he did take another Cloud Drake. We could have gotten the triple Cloud Drake dream, but he gets popped, and the rest of our team is just gonna go straight to the enemy base, and we're just going to end it because no more troll inhibs. And I hope you guys enjoyed me surviving, not really surviving, but thriving in a game where I could have played, thriving against a matchup that is relatively, not even relatively, that is always dangerous, like a 11 out of 10 difficulty matchup for the jungle. So I think the biggest mistake that I made in this game was just me being bad at some points. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more Xin Zhao and League of Legends videos. Signing off, and peace out.